Hey, what's going on, folks? We're going to kind of kill some time in the chat down there. If you have any questions about the archetype of man, things like that, go ahead and start dropping them down. I'll wait till more folks tune in to really get into it. But I do want to say hello to everybody. I have kind of taken a few months off. We'll go over that a little bit more as the night goes on. It's kind of why that was and things like that. So again, anything you want to put down in the chat box, just let me know. So I do have to say it has been kind of relaxing. I went from filming every week to just kind of really taking a break. I published the content that I had before I took the break, and then things went on from there. So I am going to get started again doing filming and editing and publishing and all that good stuff. But instead of doing 2 videos a week, I think that did kind of contribute to the burnout. I'm going to be doing a video published every 2 weeks. Most likely on a Friday. So I'm not going to hold myself to as much of a tight timeline on that. The burnout itself kind of came about, I think, from doing so much just good stuff on YouTube and then working in the industry. So I was going to leave some stuff up behind me, and then I had to go over the YouTube rules for live streams again. And you can't have weapons in the live stream. So we put all the guns up and stuff on a daily basis anyway, so I went ahead and took them all down. So I'm interested to see, though, like the windows are over here because the lights are still on. I wonder how many people are going to think the shop is still open. So there's that. Here for the BS said, Billy and I miss your face. Yeah, I miss you guys too. I was just thinking the other day, I am due for another Jacksonville trip at some point. So hopefully soon I can do that. But yeah, doing the live stream from here at the shop because the internet at the house is terrible. So it's always fun. What have you guys been up to the last 3 months? I apologize. I haven't been in the comments as much as I usually am, taking that break, getting the kids back to school and all that good stuff. I'm sure your guys' kids, if you have them, are doing their thing. So life goes on. I'm going to kind of dive into Archetype of Man, why I'm rebranding the channel. I enjoy doing gun stuff. I'm still going to do some gun stuff, gun reviews, shooting, stuff like that. But the channel is going to get a little bit broader, more man stuff, if you will. Obviously, it's not all just men, but we're going to be looking at some motorcycle stuff. You guys may have caught some of those videos. I'm enjoying riding the Triumph Tiger, doing the adventure riding, learning about that. And as winter comes around during the off season, which here in Georgia, we can still ride somewhat, learning how to work on the bike. So some of that stuff I'll make videos on, trial and error and failures and successes along the way. But also I want to dive a little bit more into philosophy. I do read a lot, so there may be book reviews along the way. There's going to be more camping, survival, woods type stuff. So gun stuff isn't going away. It's just going to become a smaller part of the channel. And again, we're kind of working in the industry. I'm starting to get burned out on all that. So there is that. Favorite book at the moment? Probably still Atlas Shrugged, although the entire Lonesome Dove series is really good, in my opinion. I think that should be required reading. Lonesome Dove is good. Ayn Rand stuff is good. I don't know. There's a lot of good ones. I'll have to compile a list. But that's what I've been up to here lately. Just kind of working, riding the bike. Spent a lot of time with the kids over the summer, which was nice. So I appreciate you guys letting me get that break and not being too hard on me. It's just water, same as the other live streams where it's been a mason jar. So there is that. John Johnson says, I got to ride the Natchez Trace. Yeah, I'd like to work up to that skill level. I'm very much still a pavement princess at this point. The dog is not here. Do not have the dog here for the BS. Wants to know where the dog is. She is at home. So my boss and I actually have sister dogs. So they were from the same litter, both German Shepherds. And when they're both here, it's a circus. It's insane. So mine is at the house. So there is that. So, hey, G23, what's going on, man? Yeah, I had to take the guns down. I was going to leave some of them up. However, YouTube's live stream rules, I didn't want to run afoul of those, and we put them up at night anyway. So I was going to leave a little section out with some of the cooler stuff, but put them away. it is full during the day. So there is that. Here for the BS. I'll have to send you some pictures of her. She's growing like a weed. She's pretty insane. So the other thing that I want to talk about is just kind of the 2A shouldn't be political. It really shouldn't. It's a civil right. It's not really left versus right. And I know it gets turned into a lot. And, the world that should be is not always the world that is. So one of the other reasons I'm kind of stepping away from that a little bit, I'm not backing down, but I am going to be kind of trying to get away from the politics as much. I want the channel to be a place where we can kind of get away from all that, because it's always in our faces. So what I am struggling to figure out is how to not be wishy-washy, right? Like to maintain my resolve and the way I feel about things without necessarily bringing it up and having a huge debate over it in the comments with folks. So there is that. Which if you'll notice on the logo, which it's on the channel, my buddy Nate over at King of Camo, he hooked me up with that. Actually, my buddy Chandler drew it out for me, and then I sent the drawing over to Nate, and Nate's the one that doctored it up and all that good stuff. So thank you to both of those guys. Chandler is in the military, so huge thank you for what he's doing right now. He's one of the good officers that was enlisted first and then did all the right stuff, and he's a hell of a leader. And Nate, of course, if you haven't checked his channel out, King of Camo, definitely worth checking out. So the logo is pretty cool. It's pretty special to me. It kind of just came to me, but I've got the open book. It says family on one side. You have a home on the other, or a cabin. So the book is that we should be on a quest for knowledge, and then the family and the home are kind of the purpose thereof. You have the knife down at the bottom, which is symbolized tools, not so much a fighting knife, but just tools, learning how to use them, take care of them. And then the gun is obviously to protect those things. So I've purposely wanted an old school firearm so as to not immediately turn people off. I originally wanted to do an AR-15, and I was like, man, that's going to divide people. So obviously, you guys know how I feel about ARs. But if we can get people in the door and then start having those conversations, maybe that'll help. I don't know. But that's where I'm at with the logo. I'm really happy with the way it came out. There's going to be some shirts and hats and things like that down the road that I'm going to offer. So let me go through the comments here. Oh, man. Here for the BS. He's possibly getting a truck next week. He needs a truck. And I'm sorry if I influenced that when I came down there. Hey, Callie says, hey, my wife's on here. Callie's the German Shepherd puppy, so that's cool. And then Corey, hey, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. So G23 says AK is better than AR. Oh, man. Just dive right into it. Yes and no. The round, especially here where I live in Georgia, the 7.62x39 round is pretty cool. I have just yet to see an AR that's chambered for 7.62x39. That's the way I like it. And I have yet to see an AK that is as modular as an AR without dumping tons of money into it. So there is that. I'm not going to get mad at you either way. So there is that. I can't even show you. I got a new gun, and I can't even show you because we're on a live stream. So I'm going to go ahead and spoiler alert it, and I'll do a video on it soon. But it is a Smith & Wesson Model 36-2, 38 Special. I know, weird for me. But anyway, you guys will have to stay tuned to see the video on it. I have it on me right now, and I can't even show you guys because YouTube. So there is that. I'm enjoying the finer things in life now. It's kind of like going from plastic bottle tequila to actual like reposado and stuff. So we're moving up in the world. So a lot of what I'm going to be focusing on as the channel goes on is kind of hearing from professionals in other areas, right? Like I have plans to do a video with a MotoGP champion that won 2 championships racing, I believe. I don't know if he's tuning in or not right now. He stays pretty busy. Also a professional musician. And he's going to kind of give me some technical stuff on the bike. And I may collab with him and do some gun stuff for his channel. So stuff like that. He was also an instructor out in California, taught their highway patrol guys on motorcycles. So if you're into bikes, that'll be a lot of fun. If you're not, well, bear with me. If you're thinking about getting a bike, I kind of hope to pick his brain on newbie mistakes and how to avoid them, how to be safe, things like that. I have a friend that opened a cigar shop. I plan on trying to collab with him at some point and kind of go over how to pick a good cigar. I mean, I could tell you this guy, my opinion on that stuff, but I think it'll mean more coming from somebody in the industry. So, like I said, guns aren't going away. We're just kind of adding to it. And I felt like the Hungry Handgunner name kind of limited me. So that's where we're at with that. I would also like to say, most of you guys may not know him. He wasn't super active in the comments there towards the end, but my friend Joe Darrow passed away. So the significance of that for the channel, Joe is kind of the one that pushed me to even start doing videos. I came up with excuses when I was still doing written posts on guns, why I couldn't do videos. I didn't have cameras. He sent me cameras. I didn't know how to edit videos. He sent me links on how to edit videos. So he was a veteran of 2 branches of the military. We vehemently disagreed politically, but he was a good friend. He was my neighbor when I was stationed up in Virginia and had lung cancer and passed away. So, yeah, that kind of sucks there. So that was part of why I didn't come back as soon as I wanted to on the channel, like right when I was kind of gearing up mentally to come back. Like I got that news and I just needed some time. So I think he'd be happy with the route channel's taken. At least I hope so. So we'll look at some more comments here. Hey, Kieran, thank you, man. I do appreciate that. Amanda said books too. I've been reading so much lately. I have, and I can't for the life of me remember the series that I am reading right now. Like I'm drawing a brain fart. It's on my Kindle, but it's a really good series. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and it's been great. I'll have to get back to you guys on that. So if you're gun guys and you watch gun stuff on TV or movies or shows, it probably aggravates you to no end when people don't handle firearms correctly or they get something wrong, call magazines, clips, whatnot. I'm the same way with books, right? Like if the author is writing about something about guns and he's just got it completely wrong, it's kind of frustrating. Well, this particular author, former military, special forces, all this good stuff, Jason Casper, go check him out. Super cool dude. I've chatted with him a little bit. Little known fact, I'm actually writing a book, so don't get too excited because it may not get published. I may not get finished at the rate we're going, but I kind of picked his brain a little bit on writing and kind of, what does he use to write. So if you're a reader, which I highly encourage you to be, even if you're not now, it's good for you. Go check out Jason Casper. Super good author. If you're a gun nerd, he's not going to annoy you. So there is that. Let's see here for the BS. Will you be talking about the gun laws trying to be passed? Yes, if I feel like I have something to add to the conversation. And I know that's not really a yes or no answer, but a lot of times there's a lot of voices that are really good at talking about stuff that are super in the know, that have a lot of information, a lot of access to politicians and things like that. If I feel like I have something meaningful to add to the conversation, I may bring it up. If not, I may point you in a direction to somebody that's done a good job on it. Again, I don't look at 2A stuff as a left versus right, super political thing. And I know that that is the way the world is, unfortunately. It shouldn't be. So I do hate bringing it up, knowing that it's going to start a fight with some folks. But I do think it's also important to be aware of the legislation they're trying to pass. You can never not be vigilant with what's been going on. So, have you read the book Glock, The Rise of the American Gun? I have not, but pardon me for being rude. While we do this, I'm going to make myself a little note to look it up because I will forget it because I'm scatterbrained. Glock, Rise of the American Gun. All right. Forgive my rudeness there. Here for the BS that I'd love to have someone sit down and read the Constitution. Yeah, see, I said reading's important. And it would absolutely be refreshing if folks would do that. And then, so the other thing too, working in the store, especially here in Georgia, you would think that most of the folks I would encounter would be as pro-gun as I am, or just in general, especially the town that we live in and the region we live in. We're fairly far removed from Atlanta and that kind of, the film industry's been moving to Georgia. So you're getting a lot of left-leaning stuff, mostly around the urban centers. So what I have found, though, is folks are pretty split, depending on their exposure through childhood and then as they were growing up. exposure normally leans one of two ways. Either they were brought up in a home with firearms and just kind of taught from an early age, to respect them, and that there was nothing intrinsically wrong with having them, that they had a multitude of uses, or their exposure was that they were bad, or that they simply existed to harm people and things like that. So a lot of new gun owners have been coming in. A lot of people that have gone decades without ever owning a gun, having any interest in owning a gun. And it's kind of given me a little bit of empathy or sense of empathy with realizing that not everybody grew up the way I did, or chances are you as well, around firearms, that maybe their exposure was a lot different. Maybe their only exposure to a gun was seeing somebody hurt or killed. And it's made it a little bit more nuanced having the conversation. It didn't change my opinion on 2A rights. Certainly didn't change my opinion on any future gun control stuff, but it kind of directed the narrative a little bit different for the conversation, a little bit gentler, a little bit less defensive on my part. At the end of the day, is that person still going to vote to ban AR-15s? Well, I don't know, and I can't really control it either way. But it helped me kind of slow down and listen a little bit more. So that's kind of where we're at. What did Corey say? Too late, we want that book. Hey, I will get the info to you. G23 said, I'm looking at trying to get a job in a gun shop. It's not all bad. It's not all good. It's definitely weird. One thing I did notice is a lot of the questions that I was answering on the channel, I started having to answer in person during business hours. I have had more guns pointed at me working this job than I can even count. So there is that. It's also highly rewarding. We do offer training here as well. So when you're going through stuff with people and teaching them and seeing that confidence come out as they start getting their hits and things like that, or understanding how the gun works, and they're, instead of being scared of it, they're more comfortable with it. It's a good feeling, but it can, I suppose, wear on you a bit. There's a lot of misconceptions that you're going to hear over and over and over again, like 22s bouncing around. I can't even think of them all off the top of my head. And I have dealt with that by making fun of it in some of my boomer FUD little shorts and stuff that I have done, which arguably is not the best way to address it, but there we are. So I'd say go for it, man. I think that it's a fun experience. I think that it gives you a different, like I said, you kind of gain a little bit more nuance. Hey, Billy's here. He called me Borther. Till Van Halen, man. Yeah, 9mm blows lungs out of the body. That's become a huge joke. That's the other thing. You hear a lot of the jokes over and over and over again. They were funny like the first, maybe 90 times. The 91st time you hear it, there's just this groan. Your whole body just kind of shuts down a little bit. So there is that. Amanda did say, okay, so the book I'm reading now is not a Casper book. It is Jason Trapp series by Jack Slater. I'm on book 6, Black Eagle. See, I've successfully read at least 5.5 books. Not bad for a Georgia kid that was homeschooled. But I would check out Jason Casper as well. So this one's by Jack Slater. It's pretty good. I think I was waiting on Jason Casper's next book. So if you're watching this, sir, go ahead and get it out because I like all your stuff. So I'll have to drop some information in like a post. So if you follow me over on Instagram, I will drop some of these Jason Casper books that I really like over there when I can go back through and check my stuff. So there is that. Billy, how you been, man? Chelsea kind of already told on you for wanting to buy a truck. So she's going to put your business out there. I hope I didn't influence that too much. G23 said I could have started on book 5. No, I started at the beginning. I at least know how to, I can count to 10 without taking my shoes off. 20 if I take my shoes off. 21 starts to become illegal. Oh, man, it is just water, whether it's in here or a mason jar. People thought I was drinking moonshine last time. So I thought about getting a beer for this, and I realized I had to drive. So it's like a 44-mile drive home. And I've made it this far in my life without getting a Dewey. We're not going to start now. So who's been enjoying the motorcycle content? I kind of got to know, because it was a huge departure from normal content when I started putting some of that out. Obviously, I am not like a MotoGP guy. Just kind of getting into this again, and it's definitely weird doing it in my 30s as opposed to when I used to ride in my early 20s. So it's a lot scarier now than it used to be. I think I'm a lot more aware of how fragile I am and how dumb other people can be. So it's weird. So I do ride with gear this go around instead of just a half shell and hoping for good luck. But it is definitely, Dragon Slayer said riding is fun. That is definitely my happy place. That's where everything just kind of stops. And I'm just worried about whatever I'm doing, which is phenomenal. G23, so you can only count if you have the digits. I count gooder, okay? We count gooder here in Georgia. Okay, so Dragon Slayer definitely gets some man points on this one. He rides on the freeways in Southern California. That's scary. I can't imagine doing that. So I have a little bit of highway riding, but it's not even limited access. It's just a 4-lane is what we call it here. There's no on-ramps or exit ramps for the riding I do here. And even that's weird enough. You know, everybody going down the road like this, and you're just like, please don't hit me today. I just pretend like if I see a car, I just go ahead and assume they're going to pull out. And then if they don't, yay, happy for me. And if they do, well, I was planning on that anyway. Don't like riding in the rain. Got caught in a thunderstorm. Not my thing. I'm definitely a fair weather guy. That's kind of where I'm at. I prefer getting off on back roads and stuff like that. That's a little bit better. But then, you know, too early in the morning, got to watch for deer. Too late in the evening, deer. So I guess pick your battles. G23 said, have you tried riding in ATL? I have not. So I actually have a rule where I work is in Jasper. I don't go south of Jasper. So if you're familiar with Georgia at all, I guess I know I'm a wuss, but I figure with that rule, that helps a little bit. Once you start getting past Jasper, getting a limited access on this highway. So it's on ramps, exit ramps, traffic is substantially worse. I feel like up here, there's enough motorcyclists that people tend to pay a little bit more attention. And if I go that far, things are going to get bad, which I have. My friend Billy's down in Jacksonville. I'd love to ride my bike down there, but I looked it on the map one time without using any highways to get down there. And it was going to take me 3 days to get there. So I don't know if that's going to work. Might have to trailer the bike down there. So no, I haven't done Macon either, G23. That's the southern part. I'm up in the tri-state, so like Tennessee, North Carolina, that corner of Georgia there. Hey, Blue Ridge Ocean, how you doing, man? Here for the BS said you better wear your PPE. Has the military taught me nothing? The military taught me how to look like I'm wearing my PPE and then take it off and nobody's paying attention. So I don't know if that's good advice. Dragon Slayer said way different than the country roads, dirt trails, and tracks I used to ride. Watch ahead and yes, assume every car is going to pull out in front of you or into you and ride accordingly. Yeah, I like pretending like I'm invisible. Keep my lights on, all that good stuff, and just pre-ride inspection. Kieran's about to head to the range. Some shoots. He's taking his Ruger American Ranch and his Remington 7615. I made him buy both of them. Both of those guns are among like my top 10. So Kieran, I am going to look into that issue you're telling me about on the American Ranch and see how yours compares to what I've got going on. I did do a little bit of digging. It looks like you can reach out to Ruger and they can send you a new mag weld, and you should be able to change that out if it's actually broken. So I'll do some digging and see what I can find there. So have fun at the range, though. I'm planning on doing some shooting on Sunday with some of the guys, and then probably some filming on Monday, hopefully, weather permitting. So there is that. Simpsonville, South Carolina. I don't know that I've been there. Charleston, South Carolina is one of my favorite places ever. So there is that. Let's see. What's your take on the 92 FS versus the 92 A1? If I'm right, and I could be wrong, the main difference is that the A1 has a rail on the bottom to put a light. To me, it's worth it. I'd rather have the rail just to give me an option, even if I run a light on a lot of stuff now. But if I didn't, at least having the rail there kind of opens up some doors if I wanted to put a light on later. So if the gun's just going to be a range gun and it's not going to be something you want to use for carry or home defense, then the FS is going to be just fine. And you can actually find some decent deals if you hunt around on some used ones. So there is that. I don't see A1s very often at all. Blue Ridge Ocean's first time joining in a live stream. Well, I appreciate you being here. I don't do them super often. The internet connection at my house is pretty crappy. I guess that's the trade-off for a living where I can shoot, is that we just don't have access to fast internet. So I'm actually doing this one at work after closing time. I will try to do them more frequently if you guys like them. It's kind of fun and relaxing. So there is that. If anybody has any questions about kind of the archetype of man and where that's going to go, feel free to drop them down there. It's going to be, I think it's going to be fun. I'm hopeful that you guys will enjoy it as much as I'll enjoy branching out a little bit. Let's see, how is holster availability for 92A1 with a light? Little shameless plug here. So I work at this gun store here, Mountain Man Armory. We are also the home of Gearcraft holsters, custom Kydex holsters. We can make you one for the 92A1 with a light. So most of the popular lights, Streamlight, Surefire, all that good stuff. So if you can't find one, or I would encourage you to look at our options, because I do help with a lot of the hardware, sanding, polishing, all that good stuff. You can do that. So a little shameless plug. I wasn't going to come on here and do this, but yeah, we do make custom Kydex holsters and stuff. So gearcraftholsters.com, all sorts of options. So, and actually if you use Hungry 2022, I believe, that's a discount code, gets you like 5% off. So little hat tip there. So there you go. G23 is a strict policy of no lights on firearms. I have a handheld light. I have both, typically, although what I'm carrying right now does not have a light. You can't put one on it. I'm starting to ease up a little bit on making sure I have a light on my gun. I don't know if it's just because I have like an emotional whatever and want to carry revolvers right now. But I am easing up on that. But I do typically always have a handheld on me either way, because a lot of times I need a light. I don't always need to be pointing my gun at it to figure out what's going on. Let's see. Space Frog, have you had a chance to watch any of the Russ movie Armor and Prop Supervisor Police interviews? And if so, has this changed your view of Alec Baldwin's guilt in the shooting? So I'll be honest, I have not. I wouldn't say that I haven't had the chance. I'm sure I have if I would have reallocated some of my spare time, but I haven't watched them. Maybe I'll have to take a look at it. Do you know the latest thing I heard is that it was ruled that the gun could not have fired without him pulling the trigger. I have figure out how to word this. I have sympathy for him. I don't believe he I don't think he did it out of malice at all. Unfortunately, simply not having malice doesn't excuse us when things happen that cost people their lives or grievous bodily harm. So I'll do some digging, but I do feel bad for the guy. I don't think he woke up that day and intended or planned to shoot anybody. So it's a crappy situation, but I think the bigger takeaway from it, since we can't fix what happened, is I think for all of us to be cognizant of the fact that if we don't assign our same diligence when we're out doing things with guns, that could be us if we let our attentiveness drop. Yeah, G23 basically said that. Don't point your firearms at anything I don't want to intend to destroy. Very good point. Let's see. Nice. Maybe we'll order one for a Glock 29 SF. Yeah, those are cool guns, man. I've been noticing a lot of 10 mil. People are really looking at 10 mils here lately. We've had a few of the M&P 10 mils in. The SIG X10, we have one of those in. That's pretty nice. And of course, Glock 20s. I haven't seen a Glock 29 in a while. They're just not available. That you should agree to a settlement for wrong for death. I didn't follow his story, so I don't know. Yeah, I kind of feel bad commenting on it because, I knew when it first came out, and I, of course, aired my opinion based on the information that was available then, which is what Space Frog was referring to, that I thought pretty vehemently that he was to blame for it. And I think the thing that ticked me off the most was he had been very outspoken. Baldwin had been about guys like me, or chances are you, and us having guns. And yet I'd argue that 99.99% of us have never hurt anybody with our guns. And then for that to happen. So it did kind of tick me off, but I have not kept up with it like I should. So there is that. Dragon Slayer said, what all are you going to be branching out with the Archetype of Man? So motorcycle stuff, riding, but also including learning how to work on the bike. It's a Triumph Tiger 1200, so it's a British bike. There's some stuff I'm just not going to be able to do due to not having a good place to work on it, or it doesn't really make sense for me to invest in a lot of the tools. So there's some stuff I can't do, but there's a lot of things that I'll be doing this winter. There's some add-ons I want to do to the bike and things like that. So I may video some of that stuff if there's not too much cursing as I figure this out. I am not a mechanic, so let me preface it by saying that this is more a video that hopefully will illustrate that if I can do it, then somebody else can probably do it too. Learning to be a little bit better with building. So there may be some light building projects that I'll learn to do, or tool reviews if I put them through their paces. I'd like to get into more woodscraft stuff, survival stuff. I'm really happy in the woods. I was an Eagle Scout. Stuff I felt like I couldn't really do as the hungry handgunner because everything was so gun-centered, which now I still enjoy shooting guns and stuff, but I'm really ready to do some different types of content in there as well. I also like philosophy, book reviews, things like that, just branching out. It's kind of open-ended. It'll definitely include some more woods and survival and camping and stuff like that, and motorcycle stuff, I can say for sure, as well as talking to other industry professionals in other areas like motorcycle instructors and cigar shop owners, and maybe a couple guys I know that make liquor that have a company there, and kind of getting their opinions and thoughts and things like that. So kind of be like a online man cave, if you will. So ladies are welcome to, but it's going to be a bunch of stuff. Some stuff that you probably won't see. I'm not big into sports. I used to be. To me, it's just not a good use of my time. Like, I have other stuff I'd rather be doing than watching guys play a game. So don't get mad if that's you. I used to really enjoy college football. It's just not my thing now. So there is that. G23 said, are you going to turbocharge the bike? No, it is 1215 cc's. Is plenty. It's plenty for me. So, and it's very low geared, I guess, for on-road, off-road stuff. So I'm not going to turbo it. It does plenty for me. Space Frog said, take on the police interviews. The two little girls were in way over the head and laughably inept. I got that impression too. So I did briefly consider throwing my hat in the ring to become a armorer, set armorer or whatever. But no, I don't think I could be around that society too much. Pro and college sports just divide people into tribes. Yeah, to an extent. I mean, I used to have a lot of fun. Like, I used to be a pretty big Georgia Bulldogs fan, and I enjoyed it. It was just fun. It was a good chance to get together with a group of guys and drink beer and have pizza and laugh and cut up. And now being, in my 30s with kids and sitting there in the living room with pizza and beer by myself doesn't really have the same whatever. And I don't really like giving up. I don't know. I just feel weird about it. It's just not my thing. So, but folks, I think I'm going to cut it short here. I'm going to go ahead and pack up the rest of my stuff and get a move on towards home. But I appreciate all you guys coming out. Stay tuned, because next Friday I will be dropping the first video as the Archetype of Man, the edited production. Tonight's kind of the inaugural whatever, and revealing that to you. So there we are. Guys, stay safe. Do keep shooting. I have to figure out my new little outro thing, the stay safe, keep shooting thing. We may do something different, but I'm really excited. So for those of you that stuck by me during this break, I appreciate it. I didn't want to take the break. Everybody told me it was a bad idea to do that. This, that, and the other, because, the metric side on YouTube. And I said, I got to do it for me. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. So I'm excited about the new direction the channel is going to go. Hopefully you guys are too. So we can learn together, because a lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you is stuff that I have never done before. So it'll be cool. All right, guys, I'll see y'all later.